Welcome to the PROcast, where we invite business doers who are changing lives by sharing their stories, their strategies and tactics, and who bravely talk about their failures that actually led to their biggest successes. Now it's time to go pro with Jeremy Torisk. And welcome to the PROcast here live from sunny South Florida. Today, I'm very happy to have Noah Taliferro on. We met a few weeks ago while he was in Miami, actually on a shoot of a project that we have in common, and we just bonded. Noah lives out in Hollywood, California, where he is an actor, and he's been in a couple of movies, a couple of TV shows. In fact, I was asking him about a show, or telling him about a show that I really liked, and he happened to pull up his phone and he's showing me that he was in it. And I do remember those scenes. So we had a really good time, and let's bring him in right now. Noah Taliferro, thank you. Welcome to the PROcast.
What's going on? What's going on? Thank you for having me, Jeremy.
Yeah, we're always happy to, this is like pretty much episode 3. So you're on it very early in my new kind of career. And you're very young, but you've got a lot of experience so far in Hollywood. You've really been very busy.
Yeah. I just keep on running, man. I just keep on running. I don't know where I'm running to, but that's not for me to know.
That's the thing. It's action, right? Don Shula said it's the start that stops most people. Mm-hmm. So once you get started, then the second part of it is just consistency and just keep trying to keep moving. And then the third part of it, I think, is your relationship building. And kind of that's where we come in. We met each other and we kind of just had some real conversation, right? Yeah. Which is unique and fresh, I think, because today so many people meet people, like especially where we met on a soundstage. And I think people tend to like go for the kill right away, start trying to get into your Rolodex. Who do you know? What are you doing? What can you do for me? And we didn't do that.
Yeah.
So tell us about where you started from, because I want to kind of go back, because people, when they see these interviews and they see these podcasts, you're an actor. People know about my career. I've been in 30-year career, just ended that to start this, my get to life. But they assume we've been here our whole life, that we are what we have been, what we are. And I know that's not the case for me, and I know it's not for you. So tell us about little Noah Taliferro.
Yeah, it's definitely not the case. I'm basically from a little part of Northern Virginia, right outside of DC. That's where I was raised, my bread and butter, a place called Loudoun County. That place really made me and crafted, shaped who I am today, and I never hold that title of self-made, because it's our environments and the way we were built that, brought us to this point, the good and the bad. Little troublemaker running around town, funny guy, class clown. Everybody knew me. Everybody loved me. So when people say, what he is today is nothing from what he was, that's totally wrong and right in so many ways, to where everything I was, I still am, but what I do, maybe not. So it's very interesting to see it from the outside of, where I come from, but that's me.
So how old were you when you decided, California is a place I gotta be?
Yeah. So I'll keep it honest. It wasn't that I decided that California was the place. Going into my senior year, you're having all that high school fun still, and you start seeing people getting ready to apply to colleges, and you're like, holy crap, this is getting real. Like, where am I going? Keep it a buck. I didn't have, the best grades. And don't get me wrong, I think college is great. If you have the opportunity to go to school, take it. I was applying. I was, looking around, and I just was getting deferred, couldn't get into. And at that time, my family was also moving from our hometown. They were making a big move to a different state where my dad was at for work. And so I had to make that choice to go with them, stay back, get a job and be to community college, or in my case, I just wanted to run. I had to. Sports was my thing. That's what I wanted to do. Didn't have the grades for it. And that's very important. I had to stop chasing and following those dreams and really go, mal a purpose. And I told myself I need to go somewhere. You know, I needed to Miami, New York, California, anywhere, you know, somewhere where I can have a platform. I didn't know what I wanted to do still yet. I just know I needed to get somewhere. And so a little bit after, high school, when you graduate, you have like something called a Little Beach where you go away with your friends. Right after that, about a week later, I got a one-way ticket and shot out to California, and no knowledge, no friends, no family, nothing. Just went. And
balls.
Yeah, man. At about 18 years old, just turned 18, and I was gone, and the rest is history, man.
So you say you went out there with nothing, and I usually start my speeches when I go on stage with Jason Aldean. I use what I got, and I don't worry about what I'm not. And it sounds like you had some things you wanted to do, but the stars didn't align for you for those. Yeah. And instead of forcing the hand, you just said, listen, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to go somewhere. Now you end up hitting California. You use what you got, which is you got really great personality skills and communication skills, relationship, you see value in that. But the second part of Jason's song, while I use that, is the most valuable part is to me, as he says, past every no after no after no until I get a yes, because I went through a lot of that no's, and it used to shut me down. It used to stop me in my tracks. Yeah. It took a long time to change my mindset. But it sounds like when you went there, how was your mindset? And you went into one of the toughest business there is when it comes to hearing a lot of no's. How did you do with getting the no's and overcoming those? Or did you just get kind of lucky? When I say luck, I mean luck is opportunity prepared for a skill. Yeah. But tell us about the experience when you first went out there. How'd you deal with that?
Yeah, to really start getting out there, I wasn't even in the acting industry, I want to say, till middle end of 2018. When I got out there, like I said, I just wanted to do more. It was LA. I was getting my hands in everything, dabbling in everything, the jewelry, quick money making, being in this scene, being in that scene, going out, still 18, 19. I'm running fast, I'm trying to get it done with, but along the way, things were starting to click. Like we talked about, maybe this door wasn't the one for me. And, hearing that no a lot, that's in every day of life. And I've taken the no's as there's a better opportunity behind that no. And that's what I really take for granted. And I've heard no my entire life, and just getting into where I am today, I heard a couple no's, but at the same time, I didn't take them as no's. I take them as, no, this one's not for you, but something else is, and it's bigger. And getting here, a little bit of luck, a little bit of faith, and a little bit of this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm going to be most effective right now, and I am absolutely stirring that pot. And so, yeah, it's very. You don't really take for granted and understand where you are until you see it from the outside. And along that way to where I am right now, I never was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Can't believe I'm doing this. Even still, it's like, in a way I have expected it, or I never thought that I couldn't get to here, even though I didn't know I was going to be here. Just me being who I am. And it's something every day. It's like, as we talked about, we're still going. We passed that starting line, and so we're still running. And
you are, yeah. And people think that now you got your start and there is a goal, a finish line to cross eventually, and that's a myth. All right, your whole life there is no finish line, right? And this podcast is mostly about business.
It's not,
but it's business is based on people, and we are, our lives is business, but it's also personal, and so there's a lot of overlay there. So that's where a lot of people, I think, go wrong, is they think that they're working toward a finish. And that's, for me, is the graveyard, really,
It is. And because as we get older, we get wiser. So how can you say, you're trying to, quote unquote, retire, get to that finish line by 30 and 40 when you're, opening that largest part of your mind, when you've been through so much. You're not only about to start a new race, but you're about to relay that next one into just bigger and crazier things. So I feel like that race, that marathon never stops.
Yeah,
You know?
I think that wherever I am in my stage of my life, I've invented myself and reinvented myself many times because of my mindset, and then because I've had to just switch gears and just do different things even within the same industry. But my goal for me is to be the best at who I'm with now, right now. Look at my competition and just try to best them. Don't want to be best in the industry? No, I don't think so, because if you're at the top of the game, then where do you go? So I always kind of look at where my competition is and just try to be that much better than them. And I look at them to be inspired, right? I always run around, be around better people and try to grow and try to be like them. So where do you find your mentors, examples, people who inspire you? Where do you look to help you get to where you want to be at this stage of your life?
So it's an interesting question. A lot of my life, in ways we grab from a lot of people. We look up to, I think about any and everything we see. I was never chasing, quote unquote. When I was young, I really didn't even listen. First of all, so I was never really chasing to be someone or be somewhere. And I never said, this is who I am emulating and getting, my purpose or my walk of life from.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of always imagining and, chasing myself,
Interesting.
just trying to, beat Noah every single day, even on my worst days, because if that's your worst day, tomorrow's your best day, because it's the next day. And so I just really took into chasing me just every single day. I can't look at someone else and say, obviously what they're doing is great. How can I do this? How can I do that? But I never feel like I'm in that competition or needing
Yeah.
that, validation to, okay, like this step and that step and this step and that step. I kind of just, feel what's right for me. And, that goes hand in hand, with anything in life. You're playing sports, different coaches are going to tell you there's different ways to swing a bat, shoot a ball. You got to find what's for you,
So it's interesting you said that, because there's three kind of coaches in the world. There's the amateur coach who did what you just said. They tell you what to do. They tell you how to swing the bat. They tell you how to run. They tell you how to catch. Then there's the college type coach, the Olympic type coach, and they ask you certain questions, and they work with you every day to tweak you. They tweak you. They look at you. They tweak you. They look at you. They tell you what to do different. They look at you, really focused on you and how you can do better, but they're still telling you what to do. Then there's the elite coach. Now, the elite coaches are the pro coaches in the NFL. On the Olympic level, it's the guys who actually make it with the gold medalist, and they ask their athletes. They listen, they ask a lot of questions, and they ask a lot of questions, more questions than they tell them what to do.
100%.
So when you aren't looking really for competition outwardly, you're looking at it inwardly, which is very unique, especially in the sports world, I think, unless you're at that elite level. And where you are now at your age, I think a lot of people who would talk to you, especially on something like this, who don't know you as well as I do, they would discount your age, or they actually wouldn't discount it. They would actually inflate it. They'd make it a bigger deal because you're very young, but you are very far ahead in life out of where most people are at your age. So it's very, beneficial that you're looking at yourself inwardly right now, because that's going to pay off huge in the future.
And, and what you said is actually very important. Gaining that mentorship or information from just everybody, including yourself, one of the first greatest conversations I've had with an individual before. It's that part of just listening, and that's very important, and that goes hand in hand. And I think that has been, my strongest sense of growth. Even if I don't know the person, they don't even know I know them. I'm listening to them every single. Doesn't even have to be a person who's up here. It could be the person who's down here, because they may know, they will know a lot more than I do. It doesn't matter. And so I never put that person here to say, okay, I need to shoot to where you are. I can grab different pieces that will, be that puzzle in my life from just every and everyone. So,
Yep. So these days,
yeah,
everything is about brand. And especially in your industry, yourself is the brand. In my industry, myself is the brand. But I think it's very common. People don't realize how in every business, yourself is the brand. Even if you're an employee for a company, you're building a brand of who
yep,
you are that reflects on the department, reflects on the division, reflects on the company. Then that leads over to the customer experience.
absolutely.
And we went through that with Amber Hurdle, did a lot of talking in the last episode. So tell me about how you build your brand. What do you do day to day to show the world Noah Taliferro? And how does that lead to getting roles and meeting people and just opening doors? Do you consciously think that way? Are you
Yeah, and yes and no. I'm obviously, not there's a lot of people out there that, rely solely on, producing this type of content, being that person, following, one straight line to, be that brand. My brand is me. My brand has been the same brand since, I was 10, 11, 12, 15, 17 years old. I've been the same kid from Loudoun County, Virginia that I am today. You can ask friends, family back home. Ain't nothing changed.
yeah,
Nothing changed. But with the hair, the earrings, the necklace, the jewelry, ain't nothing changed. I've been building my brand my entire life, whether I know it or not.
yeah, we all
And
do. We don't
yeah,
know it though.
100%. And that's who I am. That's there's nothing in me yet that's saying every single day, Noah, what else can you do to, mask yourself? It's more of I want to keep living and being me and letting other people know Noah Taliferro.
Yeah,
That's gonna be my
that's
brand.
fire. You're melting the walls, man.
It's
Fire.
yeah, it's interesting. It's obviously going to be a point in my life where, I'm going to, get bigger in a way. I'm going to have to, market myself, into a wider capacity. But I feel like, a lot of great companies, brands, people that start off, this is their core. I call it my son. Then everything else they add to it are their planets that are going to revolve around their son.
Yeah.
Who do you want to be known for? You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of times people will jump into too many different things, and who they were is now diminished, and people can't understand or see that. Me, I am my son. I've been my son. It's the way I talk. It's the way I approach people. It's the way I walk, the way I breathe, sleep, any and everything. And I feel like me staying true to that is that's the best brand I can produce to society.
That's right. Yeah. And, we are a sum of our past, a sum of our aggregate stuff. So one of the things that I always find is we all face adversity in one way or another. It's part of life. There's really just no way getting around it. A lot of people, they take that adversity and they don't know how to get over it. And worse, they use it as an excuse to stay down, right? They use it as a crutch. They blame outwardly. Now, other people, the failures led to the successes or the stages where they are now. I don't like using the word failure because failure is it's negative connotatively, but it has a good purpose. I'm trying to come up with a new name, right? Especially for the podcast. And I've come up with growth landmines. Okay. So tell us a story, if you can, a specific one, if you can come up with one, about a growth landmine you stepped on that blew up the path that you were on. You were beating the path and you stepped on a growth landmine and it blew up. But even though it blew it up, you wouldn't have gotten, what without that. Do you have some sort of experience what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
A sense of that?
I like how you use the word failure. I don't think any of us are failures. And I'll be honest, a lot of, my time out here, my path to getting where I am today, I did face a lot of adversities. There was times, I did give up on myself a lot. It may look all nice, but I promise you, it's a lot worse than it sounds. And there's times I just didn't want to do anything else. There's times where I hearing so many, no's or maybes or just things weren't going my way.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to call myself a failure a lot, respectfully, and I stopped using that word. And that goes into the realm of losing. And
Mm-hmm.
when I finally crossed this line, I knew that once I'm on the right side of things, I can never go back. And that is, you will never lose unless you quit. That
That's
will
right.
be the only time you lose. And so many times I was losing because I was quitting. And so therefore, that was the biggest step in my life, was saying, I will never lose. Noah, you will never lose unless you quit. And I have never lost since that day. And respectfully, and people hate to hear it, but I'm telling you, it's the same for everybody. You
Yeah.
have never lost until you quit.
Yeah. And there's going to be something come up because, it's like Mike Tyson says, everyone has got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
And there's another one that says, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, So you're right. As long as you look at the things that come to your path as either it's supposed to be here, it's here for a reason, it was destined by somebody bigger than me, or Jocko Willing, kind of good. I'm glad it happened because I'm not quitting. And now this will even show me in the world that nothing is going to keep me down, even if it means I have to stop what I'm going through, because maybe I'm supposed to be doing something else, but it's not going to let inside change. It's not going to let me change.
And what you said is very important, because a lot of people will be like, well, this isn't going the right way. I need to quit this and get to something else. That's not what I mean.
Yeah.
What I mean is like exactly what you said. You inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
I will not quit at life. I will not quit. Keep moving forward. Not that this is what I'm doing. I won't quit at that.
Yeah.
Me as a brand, as a person, I am not going to stop moving forward every single day. I am going to try to amount to something greater. And that's the part of winning, and you will, like you said, you'll really find that out. You'll get hit in the mouth. Something will happen to you one day, and you will know who you are.
Yeah.
Based on how you get up and keep moving, and that can go in every step of life, and I think that's really it's easier said than done, and I do really believe that it can be as easy as telling yourself, I will not quit. The smaller steps you take after that downfall are the largest steps you're going to take in your life.
Yeah. And self-awareness will tell you when to quit what you're doing. Not, sometimes you're not going to quit what you're doing. Like last night, we had a discussion before the game. It was the first time Brady went home with Tampa to New England. And we had a conversation about knowledge versus execution. And man, didn't that play out perfectly to our conversation? The boink, right? But still, they were in the position to be 52 yards out or whatever. But look at Mac Jones. Was that that's not a win in the W column for the team, but it was a huge win for Mac, for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he took one giant step forward in his career, so
he would not. That's the thing. You see all the time in sports. People put their heads down. They walk off. They mentally get out of there.
Well, look at Cam. Look who he replaced.
Mac was
there for a reason.
He is. He was so dialed in, and he wasn't. You just look at the kid. I watched the entire game. He wasn't doing this for the team. He wasn't doing this for the city.
Yeah,
he was doing this for himself. He wanted to prove to himself that there's a reason he's there. And they threw everything at Tom at the time too. Build switch. He threw many different defensive looks at Tom. Nothing they had on film Tom saw. And Tom said, okay, you know what? Let me calm down. And I love what Tom does every game. Before the game, you see it. He never shakes people's hands, waves, even said when he's coming back home, doesn't do any of that. He's so dialed in. He'll take that reunion after the game, and he did. He was so dialed in until that clock hit zero in the fourth quarter. And it's just so it's so motivating to see when you're doing just something for yourself first, and you're proving to yourself that this is why I'm here. Mac, the youngest, Tom, the oldest.
That's right. And for the same Belichick, but here's something that's a twist, and we didn't talk about it. it was the uncontrollables. You still always have uncontrollables. And the weather was that last night. It kind of takes, I have knowledge, I have expertise, and I will execute. And who's going to be, prevail because of that. And we both had our views on it. And we both, kind of see things pretty much the same way in life. But we didn't even think about, okay, now what happens when life punched both of them in the face and it poured and the ball's wet and your gloves are wet. Now it's about who wants it more, who is going to finish the details, who's going to keep their mind on the prize and get through that uncontrollables, and that's why Tom is where he is, because, they kept him that far out, but he doesn't play defense, but he spreads that culture.
Yes.
To everyone else.
Yes. Everybody around him knows. And that's what I love about Tom. Me, myself. I'm not gonna get in your face. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you keep going this and that. Like I'm letting it out there. I am going to always be the best at what I do, and that's just the mentality I have to have.
Yeah.
I am going. You will not beat me. I'm just sorry. I will. You can be stronger than me, faster, anything. I will keep going.
You're not gonna outwork you.
And people around me, they can know that too, that I will, that I may not be physically, mentally, soundly in competition with my peers, but they know I will not be beaten. I will not do it. And that's who Tom is. Look at him. He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the fastest.
No,
nothing. But he was not going to lose when he made that decision. That this is who he is. He's to this day. I mean, we're still talking about him. Over 40 years old. I mean,
yep. And you got to play your best to beat him, and he's okay with losing. He's lost a lot, but he's never lost to somebody who's not brought their A game.
Yeah,
and that's all you can ask for, really, in life, is to just get the competition, play at my top, and to do it over so much time. Kind of coming back to the branding and who we are, you have to do it every day.
Every day.
People think they could take days off. People do have bad moments. I've had plenty of them. Thank God. I'm 50 years old and the internet wasn't around. Social media wasn't around when I was your age. I don't know that I would have made it through because we thought differently back then. I was from the streets. We fought daily. I would have been a much different, mindset had the internet been around, and especially social media. But today, you got to start much younger at building this brand. And if you make a mistake, it's very hard to get a second chance. I probably got 10 chances to be where I am. But today, if I was to start over, I might not have been that lucky. So if I ask you this, and I pretty much, because I think I know you well enough, but if you had to do things over again, what would you change in your life up to this day? Would you change anything? Or is there something you would go, if I got a freebie, and I love what you said to me. If you got paid, if every job was the same, what would you do? What if you had one thing that you could change? Would there be anything?
Absolutely not. And that's for me to speak on being where I am today. There's a lot of people that will say yes. Like you said, if we were to tell God our plans, laughing. I personally, no. I've been through a lot of crazy things in my life. Grateful for them. Met a lot of great people in my life that may not even be in my life anymore. Grateful for them. Yeah. I've had a very interesting life. I can't say I'm not where I want to be in life, but I am where I'm supposed to be in life right now. And it's very shallow for me to say, no, my life is great. This is where I am. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. It's ego.
I am blessed to say I've been granted with amazing opportunity. But with that, it came, a life that I really had to grab and manifest. And so every door I had to knock down. I knocked on a lot of doors. I did it with purpose.
You sacrifice. I know you sacrificed. We've talked about it.
Absolutely. I knocked every door down with a purpose. I didn't go looking for a dream, because with dreams come all the things you want with that dream. I maybe wanted this dream because it came with the girl, the drugs, the party, and the lifestyle. That's great. But that could not be the purpose behind me wanting those
No.
dreams.
Yeah.
I get to knock down these doors for the right reasons to be fully effective, not successful, but effective. And so I believe where I am today is where I'm supposed to be, and I wouldn't change a damn thing, you know?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And if when I switched careers from, I was in telco construction for 30 years, and now I'm a public speaker, professional. I'm an author. I never did any of this for money. You can't base anything on money, or else you'll never succeed. I did it based on passion, drive. I knew I wanted to get out of construction for about 3 years, and it took a while to walk away from it. But I'm doing this on pure motivational drive. This is where I feel I need to be, for happiness. And I won't do anything less at any time for less than happiness. And with this, maybe money will come, maybe it won't. But I'm in a place in my life where that's not as important as being happy and being an example for my kids and my wife and the people in my life, because I don't want them to do things for money, just for that reason,
Man, I always say, if you're on that deathbed, you're looking back at your life. You're not thinking about the cars you wish you could have driven. You're not wishing about the money you're going to take to the grave with you. You're hopefully going to tell yourself, there's not one thing in life that I didn't miss out on,
Right.
And not one life that I didn't wish I changed, or people I wish I haven't met. And I really feel like we are in a current climate where it's very hard to listen and to understand, because we're going to get to that point of our life where we look back and there's so many people we could have helped. There's so many conversations we could have had. I thought about something really interesting the other day. Every day in life, you will have a final conversation with somebody. You will see somebody that you will never see again. And that's very interesting, because every day I'm talking to strangers on the street. It will most likely be my last time I ever talk to a lot of those people.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I was able to speak to those people. And I'm not worried about the money I could have gotten from here, or the favor it could have done for me, but just to listen to that person, because it's the smallest thing that they may be able to give off.
Well, you just said it there. You said this might be the last conversation. This might be the last time I talked. But then you wrapped it up with, I may never hear anything else. It's what I listened to. It's what I learned. And that means that the conversation isn't what am I doing to people or for people, but what am I getting from them that now they can give that message through me, that I can help somebody else with it. That I wouldn't have been capable of helping someone else without opening my mind and my ears to this stranger, or to this somebody who I was able to switch that 2 ears and 1 mouth ratio around and get it right, and listen twice as much as you talk, which is, you said it. It's a very rare place now.
Man, life's a telephone. Every day I'm talking to people. That's gonna go on.
Yeah.
But, me just, hey, how you doing? Homeless man on the street, give him a buck here too. Never. That's not gonna pass on. It's the value of understanding, listening, and letting that move forward. It's the snowball effect of life.
Look at us. We conversate in 3 or 4 different ways. We text, we send messages on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. We see what we're doing. We call.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to touch somebody. And it doesn't have to take all your time, and energy to do it, just to tell someone, I'm thinking of you. I saw this, and this reminded me of you.
Yeah.
And so, well, I see, I know we got people to go change. So let me ask you, let me share a screen here. We'll let people know that there's a couple of websites where I, looked you up and learned about you. This one here has some good information, issue-wire. Then we've got IMDb channel. Okay. You are, again, very accomplished and just so dang impressed with the things that you're doing at such a young age. And that you've got so much more to offer people. So tell us, what would you like for people to know, how to get in touch with you, something that what can we do for you? How can we help Noah?
I'm glad you asked that. I'm gonna answer it in two parts. The first thing, people can get in touch with me, just talk to me, approach me. I'm very approachable. I'm very talkative. It may not look like it. And a lot of times in my life, people may not, may not want to approach me. May think, I'm not gonna want to talk, but I'll talk. I'll talk to strangers all day long.
Get that too. I just said it in my last episode. I think I have dick resting face.
Yeah,
I look like I'm just mad. I'm not. It's just I got a face.
You never know. And I think a lot of times in life we miss out on the greatest things because we're scared to make that approach. I want people to understand and listen to who I am. And I don't care if I'm freaking 80 years old. If I have a million ears on me listening who I am and what I wanted to do in my life, that's so much more powerful than going and getting something and getting done and it's over with, Yeah. Right now in my life, I'm still growing every single day. I'm taking the right steps.
Yeah.
It's funny. When we were in Miami, we met a lady, a boat boss.
Yeah, Kim Swears, my
she
buddy.
Said something that stuck with me. She said, every morning I don't ask God for anything. Yeah. I thank him for everything.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm trying. I'm doing, I'm thanking the day for everything, and things will come and they have came, being who I am and being myself. And, it's a life, it's a lifestyle. And I do believe you do the right thing, the right things will come. And those come with, having the right relationships, the right people around you,
Yes. Yeah.
And
that's it.
Yeah. That's life.
Keeping that circle tight, but letting people in that can help. And so I know we have a lot more conversations to have in the future. We have things in common that we will be ready to share with people. You have the movie that you're writing and producing and trying to get off the ground. So that's something that's always on my mind is how can I help you with that?
Yeah.
But I think for now, let's save all that for the next one.
Yeah.
And I know you are going away right now, and I'm
about to go on a nice little 4-hour drive.
Yeah. To have some R&R, get yourself right.
Get a week away, and quickly, I wanted to get on that. I do take trips, and I'm not a big party of this and that, but I do like to say when I get out of from what I'm in and look on the outside, it makes me appreciate a lot more. So every time I go on these trips and these journeys, I know I have to get back because I need it that much more. And with life, there's purpose. And so I take these drives, I take these trips. I'll drove here to Florida last year, every day it's a mind cleanse. And, I'm on that upward journey right now. I don't know where I'm going. That's the best part about it. I brought you along. You brought me along. Yeah. We stopped at the train station. That was another stop on the journey. That's right. Now we're still going forward. We're not looking back, every single day. And I think that goes with life in Germany. Just meeting you was just an absolute pleasure, an absolute blessing. Badass boss right here. I told all my friends and family, my mom and my dad, I absolutely love them to death. My father's the most hardworking motherfucker I know in my life. He's a bad man. My mom, I get everything from her, my kindness, my love. And I'm sure you do that for your children. And
you read my mind. You know me, like, man.
You can see it, family man right here. He's in bed. He's up in the morning. He's getting me. Jeremy telling me waking up at 4. I tried it for the first 2 days, man. I can't, man. I'm waking up to 10 different alarms.
Yeah, right.
The house gonna blow up if I don't get up. And it's the small things, man. It's really the small things in life, and I'm super grateful for them. As I know you are too.
Yeah. And it's always could be as the example for them and vice versa. They kind of live through us, both of them, up and down. So we appreciate you. I love you. We're going to talk a lot more. And yes, we will see you.
Love you too, man. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk after this. We're gonna talk on my drive later.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, man. I can't wait to get going. Thank you, Jeremy, so much for having me. I can't wait, for things to start taking off with this. It's amazing what you do. The studio looks freaking dope. Got the fridge. Torisk, man. It's a blessing, brother. Noah Taliferro right here. I appreciate you for having me.
Yes, brother. Well, it's the first, but it's not the last here.
Not the last, for sure, man.
Nope. All right, brother. Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me on this episode of the PROcast. starring myself, Jeremy Torisk, and our special guest, Noah Taliferro. We really do appreciate him, his friendship, his time, his advice, his nuggets, his experiences out in California at trying to become an actor and leaving his family behind in Virginia. What a story, what a person, what an example for a lot of us. We appreciate you, Noah, for joining us. And if you'd like to find me, you can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. Those are the two biggest places, I guess you would say, that I hang out at. Just look for me at jeremytorisk.com. That's JeremyTorisk. Torisk is how I spell my name, and my blood type is B positive. How could I go wrong? Thanks, everybody.